we did it. The news has been spoiled. We moved. Again. I wish I had some big dramatic lead up as to why we moved facilities for the third time in the span of 3 years, but it really is not that dramatic. It really is not a big colossal mess as to why we had to, but there were some obstacles along the way that really led to it. So in this video, before you go anywhere and get bored, I am going to give you a full tour of the new facility, explain a few things, introduce you to some new horses, and just, I don't know, we're gonna spend the day together. It snowed too, so I would like to go out and enjoy that and bring you guys along with me. Anyway, so what happened? Why did we move? Why did we move somewhere so big? How did we afford something so big? I feel like that's the biggest question. How the hell did we afford this? Well, I'm gonna tell ya. So first things first, this facility is an ex-boarding school, an ex-equestrian boarding school. As you could probably tell, there's a lot of buildings, there's a lot of barns, staff houses, a lot of student housing, so there's a lot of room here. If you are familiar with this channel, you would know that I am married. I have a husband named Wade, and he is now a captain of the Warwick Rangers for search and rescue, something like that. I don't even know his rank anymore. I've been so busy doing stuff here, but he's up there, okay? He makes a lot of moolah. If you remember last year, he actually got pretty hurt, and his horse Bones lost his whole eyeball in a mission that went wrong, a mission that was really his higher-up's fault. And you know, my husband, being the man he is, wanted to be gracious and forgiving and forgive the Rangers just for, you know, putting his life in danger, even though his rookie he was in charge of literally died. And he was traumatized, like it was a whole thing. More info here. So not only did my husband get free therapy, compensation, paid time off, we also got to sue. So that tied into part of why we moved. The second part would be that my brand, Fawn Lake Feed and Tack, is actually doing really well, and it was only thanks to you guys. Speaking of that, we actually have our own warehouse now. And where is that warehouse, you may ask? It's on property. I can literally walk to it right now. So all of our production takes place on the facility grounds, so it really is sourced and made in Jorvik because I live right next to it. That's a blessing and a dream come true, really, and I really just want to thank you guys for even taking a chance on our products. These are some of them. Link below to our website, wink wonk. A third reason. It was just time to expand. As much as I love the other property, it just was not doing it. We were stuck in one arena. We had one main barn that was not fitting all of the horses anymore. We only had 4 pastures. It wasn't working out. I was actually forced to share a lot of the arenas with Moreland, which I didn't want to have to do because I felt like my students were taking up really valuable space that their students could have been using, and I was just tired of doing that. Believe it or not, this property was not the first one I was looking at. I was actually looking back at Firgrove. I was gonna move all the way back there. I don't know, this place came up on my radar, and as big as it was, and as expensive as the mortgage is, I think it was really worth it, and I'm gonna show you guys why. As for the other property, that was never intended to be a forever home for us, as much as I wanted to convince myself that it was. Shortly after we moved in, I realized how limited we were in space. I really tried to make it more homey with all the renovations and stuff we did, but it just was not cutting it. So the plan was that we were going to renovate the whole thing, which we did, spent a lot of money on it, and then we were going to resell it. Because we essentially just fixed up this 50-year-old property and made it brand new and homey and nice. Well, we sold it to my sister for a dime and half a corn chip. Even though that wasn't the intended plan, it was fine though. Her entire rescue was completely destroyed in a hurricane, and you know, she was kind of homeless, so I felt really bad. So I gave it to her for 10 grand because that was all she had pretty much. It's not a complaint though. My sister's now a 5-minute trail ride away. I could literally hop on Rainley right now and go see her. And that's one thing I'm very grateful for. All I've ever wanted was to be closer to my sister. I want to say the last time we lived this close to each other, we were still in the same house, and it was right before I left for college. So it's been a while. I used to have to take a ferry to go see her, so I'm very grateful for this. And I know she's gonna take great care of the property. It's more of her speed anyway. As for our new property, it's a little more elegant than you would expect it to be, which it's It's not very much me, but it was needed. I had my own personal touches here and there to still make it feel homey and woodsy, because I am from Fir Grove. My husband, not so much. He was born and raised in New Hillcrest. Ew. He tries to convince everybody he's like this rough and tough cowboy, but no, his reining lessons were $500 a pop. One of the main things I am most happy about is that my personal horses have their own barn at the foothill. Now this extra little property over here came with the equestrian center that we bought, the main property. So my horses and my husband's horses got their own barn basically, and there's a little round pen and a big arena that I can use to ride them in private if I wish. So it houses Rainley, Gravy, who's currently mad at me because he just got dewormed, Sahara, Bones, he gets his own little private spot, which he needs when he's home at least. And then Wade's new fancy horse that was a ridiculous amount of money. I don't even know what this thing is. I don't know what it does. All I know is his name is Charles. So my horses having their own space, I'm really happy about that. I mean, the thing about my horses is they're very sensitive, and them just being in that hectic mess of a lesson barn, they were not thriving, and Rainley's nerves were shot from all the kids wanting to pet him. So past the fountain and past our big building here is the main barn. So from the outside of this barn, you would not expect it to look like this on the inside. I'm actually about to go school Serafina because we got her back. We figured since the property's bigger now, we have room for a lot of the horses we had to lease out, so we brought him back. Before I take her out and show you our arenas, I would love to show you our renovated main barn. So like I said, from the outside and just the theme of the property alone, you probably wouldn't expect it to have like woodsy, cabiny feels and like touches of green here and there. Listen. This was all renovated. Before we moved in, I said the main barn needed to be renovated because I did not want my horses living in the equine version of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's house. That is what it looked like in here. Like, it was completely white. The fixtures were silver. I literally felt like I was going blind. I was like, I cannot have this. We stained the stone, we made a different color, we added some wood, some more paneling. We kept some of the original brick, but Wade and his ranger buddies tore down all of the stalls and they brought up some logs from redwood in a big truck and they rebuilt these stalls from the ground up. I did not want those weird like metal cage stalls. I wanted my horses to be able to put their heads out, so that's what we did. And then of course we have some green fixtures because my riding team is called the Green Forest Riders, so I still want green. My brand color is green. Green has to be somewhere, unfortunately. It's not even my favorite color, which I always found weird. It just fits, you know? But the tack and feed rooms are a lot nicer than the old barn too. I'm hoping that we can renovate these a little bit more. The space still isn't fixed as the way I would like it. I still gotta add some build-ins and get our feed charts and stuff up. We moved in literally like last week. The one thing we did get to put up though was our little memorial corner for all the horses we have lost. So we have Fabio up there, Carrots, Honey Plant, and Ghost, Wade's horse, who just died recently actually. He had that horse for I think like 15 years. It was devastating.
I'm flying back home with you tonight. And it's so far away, and it's so long, and it's so far away. I'm flying to the moon.
This is our main lesson arena because it's so close to the lesson barn. It's pretty spacious, and this is where I work with most of my horses. This is where most of my members only videos will take place or are taking place. I don't know if I've uploaded one yet at the time of this video. This is where I train flat and dressage most. We're getting jumps soon, but they're still being made. Most of our big lessons happen in here just because, again, it's so close in proximity to the lesson barn and the kids can just tack up and walk right over here. Very seldom so far have we gone down to the other arenas that I will show you shortly. Now that that arena's out of the way, right across from it we have our round pen. So far, I've really only used this thing to lunge, and I've turned out a horse in it because they're just, I don't know, it was close, and we don't have dry lots yet. Now, as cool as this round pen is, what I'm more concerned about is the little stable behind it. This little 3-stall stable right here is where our Western lesson horses are. So in here is Arizona, Colette, and Table. I didn't name this horse. I don't know where this horse came from. I don't know who bought it or why it's here, but the horse's name is Table.
Love you more than I can show. Night is over, I will miss you.
So, I thought I'd take the old Rain Man out and show you our gardens and take a ride down to the other arenas just because I don't feel like walking, truthfully. I also don't have any tack on, like I'm bareback. Okay, he wants to look at the snowman. Please don't eat the carrot. Okay, come on, you're being bad. I'm actually shocked he's being this calm when it's this cold out and there's snow, but there's first time for everything. Anyway, so this facility, this property has so many gardens. They don't have anything growing in them. But when this was a boarding school, they were very big on agriculture, so they had a lot of gardening spots. Obviously it's winter, so there's really nothing here yet. Ah, these are my Amazon packages. The thousands of them I have ordered, so I'm going to put these away. Now, I think this one is all of my Cyber Monday stuff. Look how good he's being. He's so good. Before the boarding school shut down, they actually took a lot of the plants with them. They let the students take them, so there's nothing here. It's going to be a lot of work, and I know it's going to need 24/7 upkeep, so if you would like to be hired as a gardener, or you have landscaping experience, maybe reach out to me. Because I do not have a green thumb. I don't. Everything I try to grow, it's so pretty here. Like, look at that view. That is a view only I could dream of. We also have, like, a little spot with a balcony over the lake. I'm not going to show it to you today just because it's still being cleaned up, and I don't want to bring Rainley around a bunch of construction workers because that's just a recipe for disaster. Okay. So we've made the trek down here. Stay. Be a good boy. First, I want to highlight that we have another arena. It's a little bigger than the one up at the top of the property. This is also going to have jumps in it. This is also the Western arena. This is where most of the Western lessons are held. So I'm hoping we get some poles and some barrels. So hopefully we just get some obstacles in soon-ish. I don't know. So over here, this is another 3-stall stable. This isn't a housing stable though. This is where we put the horses that are on deck, like the ponies. So instead of having these kids like walk up and down the hill, they're just gonna stay in these stalls on the days they have lessons, and there's even little runouts for the ponies to go into. I've wanted an indoor arena for as long as I can remember, and now I finally have one. On one side, we have our show jumping and all that stuff, the one spot where we actually do have jumps right now. And then on the left is flat work, poles, all of that. Super roomy, can host a lot of events in these, which I'm super excited for. It's just awesome. It's awesome. So behind the riding arena is another 3-stall barn, I know. And this is going to hold all 3 of our draft horses. They have not made the move yet, and because 2 of them are retired, we figured they deserve to be in this little meadow kind of thing away from everything else, and they can just people watch and see what's going on. So in here will be Gale, Zaxby, and then Bentley. Zaxby and Gale are retired, but Bentley is not. He's still a baby. Bentley is our physical therapy horse for disabled riders, so he gets his own special spot. We also have a few cross-country trails, which is really exciting. We literally have everything. Our main building is obviously housing for our staff and for our live-in students. We'll have an opportunity pretty soon. Boarding is also opening up as well, and lessons, so that's something to look out for. You just gotta give us a second to get our bearings straight. Please, I'm begging you. Another thing I want to talk about is the shared ownership of the little hunter property next to Silverglade. So we own a showground now. There is a little barn on there, but we haven't put any horses there. We're hoping that maybe we can just have some boarders there and then use the arena for shows and then schooling. So it all works out. So as for right now, that is the whole property. You're probably asking me, hey, Amelia, where do you live? Nowhere right now. There is no house, like formal house on this property yet. I'm thinking of building one. So far right now, I am still living in the house I lived in when I still lived at the other property. So my sister and I are bunking together for a little bit until I figure out what I'm doing. Anyway, that pretty much concludes the tour for right now. A few things before I go. I have merch now. If you want to check that out, it'll be linked below. My artist, Juice, Nova Sleepy Wolf, did an amazing job, and there's some Rainley merch, Gravy merch, Gale merch, Bones. I think that was it. The main four. Yeah, they're there, the main four. But there's some really cute stuff. There's journals for your roleplay ideas, there's stickers, there's phone cases, there's our mascot, a little deer named Fauna. It's really cute. I actually bought myself some, and I'm really excited for it to get here, so... I think that's all I have to say. I'm sorry this was so long, but I will see you guys next week. I'm trying to post every week of December just because I love Christmas so much, so I will see you guys then.